the Uncommon Transformation television series.
Agriculture, believed to be the earliest occupation that man ever ventured into from olden times, has continued to remain the mainstay of the economies of many countries around the world. It has undoubtedly continued to occupy such significant position in view of the fact that virtually every living creature depends on agriculture for survival. For this reason, therefore, man has taken advantage of the importance of agriculture and made brisk business of it, some on subsistent level, while others go into it on a large scale to feed a larger number of people within their society and sometimes for export. But the long and short of it is that agriculture occupies an incontestable position in the ranking of sectors, whichever way it is viewed. But the towering position was threatened with agriculture relegated, as it were, in Nigeria with the discovery of crude oil in the 1950s and early 60s. Today, agriculture is only struggling to reclaim its pride of place.
People must appreciate, instead of going to the farm, going back to the farm, which this part of the country was leading before the advent of civil war and oil. You recall when you talk about palm oil, palm kernel, in fact palm produce generally, it is all came from Akwa Ibom State under the Eastern Regional Arrangement. So the government, the administration has been able to reposition agriculture, refocus our people to realizing that much can be achieved through agriculture to complement oil, that is something that could be exhausted in the near future.
Prior to the year 2007, Akwa Ibom State is known to have lost several billions of naira to capital flight, as a good number of agricultural products consumed in the state were imported from neighboring states and beyond. It was therefore not uncommon to see loaders offload thousands of bags of grains such as rice, beans, garri, as well as yams from lorries on a daily basis, with the wholesalers in turn receiving the goods to be sold to the final consumers. The story is now different. The Chief Godswill Akpabio administration is deploying every strategy to reverse the trend.
We have a lot of goodies and plans for the people of Akwa Ibom. So, for instance, in the agricultural sector, we want to encourage every Akwa Ibom person to think of owning one small farm or the other. We believe that it is important for us. Any society that cannot feed itself cannot boast of greatness. So food is important. So we want to ensure food sufficiency in Akwa Ibom. So that's why my administration is poised to engage in agriculture. And we don't want a situation whereby you go and produce agricultural produce, and at the end of the day there's a clot in the market, and then of course these things will be destroyed. So the processing must also come in for us to turn it into something else. I look forward to a time when the whole Nigeria can have tomatoes in tins, and they say, oh, it is Aqua tomato. That must be from Akwa Ibom State. I look forward to a time when we don't have to import fruit juices, and then you just come here, you see Aqua juice. Oh, that is from Akwa Ibom State. I look forward to a time when you can have water, clean water, you want to drink, and you pick up your bottled water and you look at it and say, oh, it's Aqua water, please, that's the one that I want. Because we are sure of the safety, we are sure of the cleanliness of that water. That's the kind of thing I'm looking at. I want to revitalize also the palm produce area. A lot of people talk about Malaysia, talk about this. If they didn't have oil, they were able to depend on palm produce. During the Eastern Regional Government, with Nigeria survived, Eastern region survived, and we survived on agricultural produce. So, Nigeria, of course, even in the north, we survived on groundnut and other things. So, when we discovered oil, we abandoned all those things. And today we can hardly call ourselves, we are just a consumer nation. We are not a producer nation at all. We are not producing anything. There is nothing that is being processed here in this country. Everything is just being processed, and brought down here. And sometimes they pick up our things, our tomato, our groundnut, and our cocoa. They go out there and turn it into beverage and bring it back, and we buy. We are just a continuously consumer nation. And for me, it's a worrisome situation. So I would like to see a change from the normal norm in the country, where you have a small state like Akwa Ibom, that investors can come in and build things. And then if you produce mango, you know very well that the mango could also be extracted, and mango juice could be produced in Akwa Ibom and given out. And then, of course, we have all sorts of waterfalls. You can turn that into something meaningful, and then you have clean water, natural water, spring water coming from Akwa Ibom State. You have all these tin tomatoes, all sorts of things that are being produced. So processing is important. That is why I said for this second tenure, I want to commence industrialization.
The state government, in repositioning the sector, has identified partnership of the people, largely the youths and the women, as resourceful allies in the quest to ensure food security in the state.
And agriculture remains a major partner in job creation for any administration. And that is why even this time around, we just started with, I think, 2 billion naira for women in agriculture. We are trying to draw out our women to join. Then we also have the one we call Integrated Farmer Scheme. We train 900 Akwa Ibom children, graduates, every quarter. 900 every quarter. Then I managed to give them small grants, 500,000 naira each for small farm holding. And then as they improve, the money also goes up, some to 1 million and thereabouts. So we are going to continue with that process. We'll do more in terms of training and retraining of our children in integrated farming. We'll do a lot in terms of encouraging our women to engage in agriculture. We'll also do a lot in terms of encouraging investors to come from outside and then build processing plants within Akwa Ibom State, so that we can have our own fruit juice, we can have our own bottled water, we can have our own tinned food. Sardine that you see is fish, and the entire Niger Delta is full of fish. The prawns that you see, those things are being taken from here, processed outside, and brought back for us to buy. So I think that that is another major chain in the agricultural line that Nigeria must focus on, the processing. You know, a place like Benue, they produce a lot of yam, they produce a lot of mangoes and all that. But sometimes those things are seasonal fruit. They just come and go. And then, of course, if they manage, even I don't think that we are exporting right now, because sometimes the way the international community buys, agri products, Nigeria may not meet the standard. But if we produce those things here and process them, I can tell you that the whole West African coast will become a market for Nigerians. But we have not focused on agriculture, because we have been focusing so much on crude oil. But I think the beginning is that we must do something that we can feed ourselves. And as a government, we are trying to move away from the norm. And that is why I said ours is step by step. The first 4 years we spent in laying the solid foundation in terms of infrastructure.
Thousands of youths have been trained under the state's integrated farmer scheme and empowered with 500,000 naira each to embark on any field of agriculture of their choice to produce food on a large scale to feed the population. This has created gainful employment for over 3,000 youths of the state.
The sense that we have seen here today is the 6th batch, and they decided to further increase the number from 940 to 1,200 and increase the sum of money equally, because we made the scheme initially, like I said, the first, second, third batches were given 300,000 naira each. But from the 4th batch that it came to the Empower, he had to increase the money from 300,000 naira to 500,000. And you have seen the young men here, they are fed 3 times a day, institute training. That is what we do. They are comes here, given what it is. We have a clinic here. You can see the farm massively. And we have different components like you have picked already. We have the poultry, we have the piggery, we have the goatry, the rabbitry, the snails, plantain, vegetable, name them. It has a multiplier effect, because each of the 5 participants employs 1 or 2 attendants to help them. And most of them, they are graduates. At the end of the day, they'll be employed. And even when they are employed, they will still maintain their farms. And this is going to help the state government in feeding the micro industries that this administration is infestation.
I stand on behalf of the participants to say, Governor Godswill Akpabio, you've done us well. And we said that May good Lord bless it in Jesus' mighty name.
Akwa Godswill Akpabio Akwa Ibom Abasi ano anyo keme ano ana manyenye sri ima no to opportunity emi ano nyiria ano nyitengiro everything he made it possible for us to benefit.
Kenye ndidi mi imiri pe bran ito nkon bon pe bran ito igwa pe bran ibo rune pe bran ibo so men kenye nkobi no metreta iti.
I am favored. They directed us well in area of farming. I believe we have gotten enough, more than what we should, in area of farming, poultry farming, goatry, piggery farming, a lot in farming, even in pumpkin, fruited pumpkin, cassava plantation, banana plantation. We have gotten a lot of lesson. And we are able, if we go to our different local government, we are able to manage it for ourselves so that we may live a life with it.
The government give them more. In one year, fertilizer. In onion fertilizer, you can make it in 1 year. In onion, in fact, the future of agriculture in Akwa Ibom is very, very hopeful. If you can recall that before 2007, Gary, Ikiboroke, Kobita, 100 naira. But don't Idari the way that I mean. Gary Kudwa, Ustenibuke Yama, Kekaribara, or the Taita, 100 naira. But also send, Ado 11, Kenkan in the local government, Aku, it was the food basket of Akwa Ibom. Usani, a 100 naira. Ado, let me say 1,000% as against before 2007.
I know what I went through in life. I want to thank the government so much for what he has done. For him to remain, for God to use him and remember somebody like me.
We really want to give a very big thanks to the commissioner, the governor himself, for initiating this kind of program. I mean, it's a very kind of nice program for youth.
This team already trained us to make us to be focused on farming, to improve the farm, the food in our nation, to bring out some of the things that we're not supposed to be having, like fishery, like now mushroom. I'm so happy because mushroom, I did not even know that mushroom is going to be something that we can plant. But because of this scheme, we can plant mushroom and we can even harvest it to eat it, and it's good for our health. I'm so happy because this scheme has taught us the most things, like fishery, like poultry, like snails, like piggery, like goatry. We are so happy that this scheme is going to be improved and going to be more and more to encourage our youth in Jesus' name. We are happy for our governor because he's a great governor, he's a digital governor.
Akwa Ibom State can feed itself with the population of the farmers we have in this state. Akwa Ibom State land is blessed. In fact, there is nothing we grow here that does not do well. We have both water and the land to grow very many things, and all the crops grow very well in Akwa Ibom State.
With the state government have empowered us. Even myself, I didn't have any transportation to convey my things here. To the glory of God, the governor's wife have given me something that whenever I enter my farm, I have something that I bring my product to the house. We are so happy. In agriculture, we are so happy. They have trained so many of our women.
This is Akwa Ibom, the land of uncommon transformation.
Another population that has strong advantage in agriculture is the women, believed to be about 65% of the population. Because of its location as a littoral state, Akwa Ibom engages in large-scale seafoods production and has been seen to have comparative advantage in this regard. But over the years, this advantage has not been harnessed for the benefit of the state. In a bid to change this, the Akpabio administration instituted the Accelerated Livestock Fish Development Program. Under the program, livestock and fish farmers have been empowered to expand production to meet the growing market demands.
Presently, we are really working on revamping the fishery subsector. The fishery subsector is going to be boosted in terms of provision of fishing input, such that what is actually happening to our fisher folk will really be addressed. We have the largest seashore, in fact, in the south, and our shrimps, like crayfish, is highly valued. So His Excellency has actually put in place everything that will be done to provide fishing input to fisher folk. And of course, the piggery aspect of it too is going to be revamped. Currently, the ministry is working seriously on how to revamp the grass cutter project.
The government has provided for an enabling environment, providing security and the rest, whatever is the legal provision that the government has to provide. We are enjoying that. There is bright future for the country's economy as far as fishery is concerned. Yes, and it should be encouraged by all levels of government.
Also under the scheme, the government is building hatchery in the 3 senatorial districts of the state. When completed, each of the hatcheries will produce about 120,000 day-old chicks daily, a commodity which had largely been imported from other states of the Federation.
This site here is the site for the Akwa Ibom State Poultry Hatchery Project, which His Excellency has graciously approved for the Minister of Agriculture to establish. His Excellency inherited a hatchery complex, a hatchery project at Osel Fort, which was only capable of producing just about 2,000 day-old chicks per week. And this quantity is grossly inadequate for the teeming population of the state. And therefore, this present project is going to produce about 90,000 day-old chicks per week. And like you've seen here, the hatchery project is under construction. The staff quarters for the project has been completed, and the poultry farm that will supply the hatchable egg to the hatchery here has also been completed. In fact, at the moment, the weekly day-old chick requirement for farmers in the state is put at between 150,000 and 200,000 day-old chicks per week. And you now see that with the previous hatchery we had at Osel Fort, it was really grossly inadequate. And with this present one we are now having, you now see that what is going to happen is that the capital flight, which the state is actually losing at the rate of 200 naira per day-old chick, and you multiply that by about an average of 200,000 day-old chick weekly requirement, you see that about 20 million is leaving the state on a weekly basis.
The government has acquired more than 100 tractors for sale at subsidized rate or on hire to farmers to boost food production. While thinking about the food needs of the population, the Akpabio administration did not lose sight of the need to sustain or grow its economy. To facilitate this, the state government put in place the Community Plantation Scheme with the essence of boosting cash crop production. The state is capitalizing on its pedigree as a state with the largest concentration of oil palm in the country's oil palm belt. Investigation has revealed that lack of attention in the past had led to situations where neighboring states or even buyers from Akwa Ibom State had contested the #1 spot with the state, having accumulated such quantities to justify their claims. The Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture and Natural Resources, Obong Eno S. Akpan, explains further.
The state government is in the process of signing an MOU with a Malaysian company to undertake an overhaul of the oil palm industry in Akwa Ibom State. This will also include the Aqua Palm Industries Limited. We believe by the time the consultants submit their reports, the large-scale oil palm production in the state will commence.
Akwa Ibom State is one of the few states of the Federation that have fully paid up their counterpart funds in the FADAMA program and has not failed to support the farmers through inputs such as fertilizer and machinery. The vision of Governor Godswill Akpabio, therefore, is to make the farmers to ensure value addition in their business. Already, a weekly market has been inaugurated for the rural farmers to display their product at the State Secretariat, where the products could be purchased directly from them.
With the new policy of government that 10% of raw material inputs into the production of beer and flour should be 10% of cassava. You now see where we are now. The cassava that we have excess now will be turned into raw material to the industry. That's why we need more hands to be on the farm. One of the greatest challenges facing the world over is that of food insecurity and its attendant soaring food prices. It is with this in mind that this administration, with our policies, which have been rated as most agricultural friendly, has made a vowed commitment to make food not only available but affordable to our people.
His Excellency is really fixing the state for everybody agriculturally, and we have no doubt that at the end of it all, poultry products, especially like table eggs, chicken, will be available and affordable for everybody in the state.
At no other time in the history of Akwa Ibom State has the agriculture sector fared better than under the Governor Godswill Akpabio administration. Not only will the state be self-reliant in terms of food production, but it is also expected that in the long run, the state will be an exporter of agro-allied products, all courtesy of the present administration.